financial reports expertly prepared by Kelly. Focus our attention on packet page 7, which is our summary of overall activity and then the capital activity. So the top is the ongoing budget activity, and the bottom is in green is the capital activity. So to refresh my memory at this point, Kelly, we get the approval for the carryover
Yep.
into this year. Okay,
Yeah,
so.
that was okay.
So just looking at the capital for a moment, there far right column, you can see we've got 390 in the hopper for capital. And then if you put your attention on the far right lower corner, you can see the bulk of that will be eaten up by the sign fabrication activity and installation, which I don't think we planned it to be that big, but it is what it is at this point. So have a few other minor projects in public space activation, wayfinding, design work, blah, blah, blah. Anybody have any questions about any budget things? We're already halfway through, more than halfway through,
Almost
59%.
Are we still looking to have this completed for this season? Okay,
By Memorial Day,
okay, wonderful.
Yeah,
so,
oh, wow, I gotta turn this on.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, very good. Any other comments, questions, issues on finances? Of course, you know, in your leisure as you're pouring through these, if you ever have any questions, throw them out there, please.
bedtime reading.
Yeah, bedtime reading.
Riveting.
It's a great cure for insomnia, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I wish I would have with this.
That's right.
Well, I did, I just didn't want the money.
Can I get a motion to approve the financial report?
I move approve the financial
Tammy,
report.
thank you. Second?
Second,
Robert. Any more discussion on financials? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? No, all right. Parking lot 11. One of my favorite parking lots of all the parking lots.
It's more popular than 10.
More popular than 10, right?
It goes
Yeah.
to 11.
Or
It goes to 11.
Or 13 or whatever.
For all you Spinal Tap fans. out there.
Yeah.
It just gives us that little.
Oh,
bit.
wow.
It is a little bit more than 10.
So I gotta work on that. I gotta work on that obscure reference, but because I don't really know it. Anyway, I think Greg is here to talk to us about parking lot 11.
Yeah, so 11, you have it in front of you. We kind of using the last meeting, we really, I guess you could say we really stripped it down, took a lot of the fluff out of it as far as islands and plantings and things of that nature, in an effort to maximize the parking to the full extent. I don't know if you can see it and what's in there, but we've got it at 197 spaces. We work with Spicer in a couple different variations, try to maximize parking. And ultimately, we kind of landed with this one at the best number of 197. So it's really kind of the design you've seen before. We've just pulled all of the other stuff out that was taking up spaces that made it look less like all asphalt. And it basically it's a parking lot. It's all asphalt, maximizing the parking space. As it sits today, that lot's 181. So we have significantly increased the amount of spaces available. We've also, you can see the hashed out spots. So we have included ADA parking, which is required. And yeah, so that's the lot.
Yeah, okay, all right. So it appears this drawing is,
At some point, were we
I mean, this is like maximizing the spacing, right? Without,
talking
I mean, the only other design thing, Greg, as I recall, was to the, let's say, to the east end. If we didn't keep that wide, I don't know, we call it the sidewalk or whatever. We talked about that. There might have been an additional lane in there, but I think.
Yeah, we looked at that. We actually, you can do it. You can squeeze another lane in there,
Yeah.
but then you go to angled parking and it changes your spacing.
I got
You
you.
actually lose some spots.
Sure,
You know,
Okay, that was gonna be my question.
Yeah, so you're talking like you could be at 197 with this, maybe that one, I can't remember, but it was like 193 maybe, you know.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So you kind of lost some. I mean, yeah, you
Yep.
take up that extra space, and from that green space along Broad that we kind of talked about, this design does cut into that some already. So we are cutting into that green space more
Sure.
than what is there today.
Sure.
Okay.
Greg, can you remind me, are we doing any of the infrastructure for, the power stations or anything in this lot? I know they're in the lot we just did,
We'll put the conduit in,
but not the actual station.
not the actual
Okay.
stations.
So you have it set up for it, but it doesn't.
Right, same way with lot
Yeah.
12, we put the conduit in so we could put charging stations. in
Remind me,
future.
Greg, what are the widths of these spaces? Vis-a-vis what it is now?
It's 9 feet wide, which some of those are a little less than that, some were
Okay.
that.
Is this lot
Yeah,
always
they
struck,
move, they're
this
they're
always
little-
struck me as tight, but,
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
you know,
I like that they're running though.
Yeah, it's very random out there today.
Not
It
my
is
favorite
random.
spot.
I do like that we were at least able to keep that walkway down the middle.
and we have, so the other thing, when I think about these lots is when we had discussion about the other lot that we redid, a year or so ago, it was about the green, we're trying to get more green space in that, but it's this whole discussion about parking and spaces, it's, it's almost trumping it, isn't it? I mean, which is okay, but, I don't know if we ever do any on the bluff, that might be a place where we can do, I don't know, a little more aesthetics, let's call it,
Right.
On the conduit, the EV, I assume if we ever put it in, we'd charge for it.
So what,
I guess
yes,
I'm wondering, like, it's great that we put the conduit in, but is there a reason we wouldn't just pull the trigger and make it available? It seems like it would make us more inviting for, the
What-
EV vehicles.
what Walker has told, Walker's recommendation or suggestion is do what we've done, put the
Right.
conduit, put the infrastructure kind of in
Yeah,
place.
that completely
But
makes
don't-
sense.
Don't roll out electric car charging till you have more volume, and then basically you would enter into a contract with somebody else to manage it. But
Yeah,
you just don't have enough
Yeah.
to make it worthwhile for somebody to manage it. And they're like, you don't want to have to manage it.
oh, okay, so
Yeah, right.
the adoption rate is not really high enough yet.
That essentially, that's what they were saying.
I-
Like, wait till you get more, then do it.
I wonder if, on that, do the Teslas and the other guys, do they fund these installations? Do you know, or?
Not that I'm aware of.
It would,
They must, there's like 1 million of them at the Meyer State, there's an entire row at
Yeah.
the Stevensville Meyer.
Yeah, yeah,
up by
yeah.
Panera.
yeah,
I can't imagine.
out by Panera, those actually say Tesla, on, if I remember.
So do the
right.
Meyer ones.
Oh,
I
the
can't
Meyer ones.
imagine
And then
that-
even Benton Harbor has a whole row. The Benton Harbor Myers
Yeah,
has
I
this,
can't believe Meyer
Yeah.
or whoever owns that.
That they paid
Panera
for it,
Mall
yeah,
Put
yeah,
those in
yeah.
themselves.
Well, anyway, something we can investigate, as long as we're ready for it, we can.
There's grants out there as
Yeah.
well. I'm trying to remember. Walker even seemed to indicate that sometimes, you enter into these agreements with these people to manage it, and they'll provide it basically as part of the
Yeah.
management,
And then we
and
get.
knowing
cut.
they'll get their money back.
Yeah,
over
We,
yeah.
we get some piece of it, I suspect.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah, that would make,
But so
would make
the
sense.
other approach might be, I guess I would be interested in understanding if someone would be interested in taking that license, I'll call it, I'm not sure if that's the right word. Because there's obviously two ways to look at it. Let's wait until the numbers get high enough, or could we be a part of the solution so that, when somebody comes here and says, oh, they have EV parking, so therefore I'll buy, so that we could be a part of getting people to convert to EV. So, it's a thought.
Right.
I'd be curious to know, would someone be interested in paying for that to put it in? And I don't know how much commission we would get. I suspect nobody's gonna get rich off of it, but no, if we can get it in for free and and get a couple bucks, it seems like it'd be worth doing,
I think, yeah.
or at
so-
least investigating.
Yeah, I think that's probably the right way to say it then, Brian, is to say, let's put it on our list of things to look into when we get the lot ready. We can, I don't know who we contact, Tessa, maybe we talk to somebody at the,
Tesla, I know, is they
have a
build
program.
infrastructure for their own.
I'm sure.
We would, so if you have a Tesla, you can use Teslas. And my understanding is if you don't have a Tesla, you got to use somebody else's.
Right.
Now, they've gone back and forth on that, but what we would want is something that anybody could use, Tesla or otherwise.
Some of the other manufacturers have adopted Tesla stuff. So
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
just,
their
it's not
connector.
fully
Yeah.
proprietary. I don't think there's one that's uniform,
Right.
but Tesla serves more than just Tesla.
And obviously, if we were gonna, if it made sense for us to do it, it would make sense for us to do it when we did the lot. So be worth looking at least, we can't say no if we, or yes, either way, anyway, you know what I'm saying?
All right.
One design modification, I think might be something to consider. With the walkway that goes down the center. If we can maybe move that one or two parking spots to the east, just so the line of sight lines up from that sidewalk, it's gonna draw the eye to Court Street Plaza, because I know that that's in the works to work on Court Street Plaza. I think that was kind of the idea behind that.
To make it like a continuous.
Yeah, I'm saying that this
Oh, move it this way.
move it a little bit, yeah, because it looks like it's kind of there, but
Yeah.
not really.
I think.
So I
the
think
i-
maybe even if it was just one parking lane over, it's gonna give more of a line of sight directly to,
Might be
that
more
walkway in between the two buildings.
I think
Does that
the
make
i-
sense?
Yeah, I
Greg?
think the idea here,
Yeah.
Greg, is that this lines up with the walkway there, right?
Right.
The entrance.
Yeah, and it looks like it might be close, but I think maybe even if it's just one parking spot over to the east would.
Well, I think
would
when
line
they
it up a little
actually,
bit.
when they actually do it, that's the objective, right, Greg?
Right.
Am I thinking-
Yeah, if we can just make sure that's in the design.
And Greg, will the trees remain on the tree lawn facing Broad Street, or are they?
They may have to be removed, but if they come out, we can always, we'll put
Replace
something
them.
else in its place,
Yeah.
yeah. It's hard to tell. It looks like they probably would end up coming out based
Yeah, it's
on.
pretty close.
It's
Yeah.
pretty close, and I mean, I know people like them because they flower, but Bradford pears are terrible trees to begin with, so it wouldn't be a big loss. My opinion.
That's a true story. I agree with that opinion.
With what now?
Bradford pear trees.
Oh,
People love them because they, in
Yeah,
the
they're
spring, the
beautiful.
flowers, they look
Yeah.
great, but
Smell like cat food.
they're also considered an
Plus, they
invasive
only flower
tree,
for
and
Few weeks.
So
so,
we'd likely replace them, but some.
They drop a lot of garbage,
yeah.
because I have them next to my
Sure.
drive. I protect them.
All right, any other questions on 11 here? Any other comments, questions?
is that still slated for next year?
Not, we're not doing it this year, yeah.
Yeah, I think
We
that's the
pushed it
plan,
off,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right,
And
as we
Anytime we
discuss-
do it at this point, it's gonna be a headache. It's,
Yeah, and we,
Right.
I know there was discussion of, breaking it and a half, and we said we're just gonna bite the whole apple and do the whole thing at once,
I
right?
think we're gonna have to, otherwise,
It's-
you pay two mobilizations of a contractor. They come in the fall and they do. it.
Yeah, you're gonna raise the price a lot.
Right. I
Yeah.
mean, mobilization is usually based on like 10% of the project. Well,
I believe it, yeah.
$1 million project,
Right,
mobilization gets pretty
Big number,
pricey if you
yeah.
gotta pay it twice.
yeah, all right.
Okay, so I think, Kelly, you're looking for us to approve this design, yeah?
I would move to approve it with that one modification,
Which modification?
of bringing that walkway.
Yeah,
just to-
They
just to-
line up the walkway,
Yep.
sure.
Yeah, to the
Yep.
east. line
Yep.
up, yeah.
I'll support.
All right, discussion, any more discussion about this? Discussion,
Right.
all right, okay. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Chris, does
Opposed?
that make, Chris?
I,
Yeah, does that make sense to you?
none of it.
Oh,
Chris said problems with this, I know. All right, so Parking lot 11 approved as submitted there with adjustments for the walkway. Okay, next item here is payment to Valley City Sign Company. So this, you'll recall from our last discussion, we had a little bit of confusion in the,
Is this the one we're going with or the one that
no, this is the one
when it
that.
started and?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, Kelly, do you want to run through this real quickly?
Did it- Yeah.
So Valley City is the one that was initially chosen prior to the bid being found. And at the last meeting, you guys had recommended that we would pay for the time that they used. So we got an invoice from them as well as the deliverables. We negotiated a little bit. So this 4,800 is what we came up
I
with.
remember, and it's not in minutes that we approved to pay them. I thought that we were not going to pay them because their contract was invalid. They didn't meet the specification.
No, yeah, I think, well, a couple of things
Well, we
here.
were in.
Yes.
To look at it. I mean,
I-
we didn't make it. I don't think we made a recommendation.
I think,
Other than to
yeah.
move forward with
The
the better
commission,
sign
maybe.
company.
I think, as I recall, so the discussion was about, when they began their work, we had notified them, but we didn't have a contract with them yet.
Correct.
So they kind of jumped the gun, I guess you could maybe say, although we told them, oh yeah, it's going to be your business.
Right.
The minutes reflect what you just said.
So,
Okay.
so we said, we would see what our obligations were in that regard.
Well, and Lori obviously changed her mind because when Lori was here last time, she sat there and said, taxpayers can't pay penalty money.
Right.
For nothing.
Right.
Okay, and now we're giving them $4,800 to read through what it is, $4,800
Yes.
for nothing. Well,
I-
I don't think that's a wise, way to spend taxpayer money.
I hear you, Chris. I guess my only thought on this would be, and I could probably be persuaded either way, to be frank with you. This is a goodwill gesture, right? This is not a obligation. This is not a legal. That's the way I would look at it if we chose to do it. Now, if it's the, pleasure of the board here not to do it, then that's what we say.
We will just because we feel bad about it, then why doesn't the DDA pay the bill rather than taxpayer?
Well, yeah, I hear you.
Did we at least get something out of this?
We did. We got their design drawings. They sent me all the work that they had done.
Okay, and this is designs that we're gonna be able to use with the other company?
We don't need to because they've already started their own design drawings, but we got we got the work that they did, the Valley City did.
Yeah,
So-
Design company want to do their own design.
yeah, I think that's right.
All right.
Yeah, the utility of what we're paying for here is probably not non-existent, frankly. Again, I think this is, and I can appreciate it's not a legal obligation. It's really
Well,
more of,
the line
Yeah,
item,
yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
keep playing this more intelligent.
Yeah.
The line item is, $4,800 for administrative work.
yeah,
That doesn't sound like a product.
Well, and I
We
guess
have
that's,
drawings.
that's my wording. I don't have them here, but I can get them. It is that's how it's worded on their invoice. It's the admin, the fee for them to do the drawings and all the specifics that they
yeah,
did.
understood.
But when you look at their contracts, okay, under each type of sign.
Yeah.
There's no money expended. It's only when you get the administrative fees is where they want where the staff. The good news is, and again, I always focus on the issues. I don't always sit there and take the job. The staff has gotten us from $10,000 down to $4,800.
Sure.
So we've done a lot since last.
Right, sure,
Notwithstanding that,
right.
this is still the wrong way to do it.
I hear you, Chris. I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll kind of call a question and say, if we don't want to approve now, then, I guess then, Kelly, we throw it into, and if the city commission, I guess, decides they want to pay them, then that's their decision, So I don't know, any other discussion on this item?
Yeah, so so if we were to approve the expenditure.
Yes,
It would come from the DDA budget,
No,
is that,
no, it's.
from the city? Well, and the commission's gonna have to vote to expend that money
one way
anyway,
or the
right?
other, that's
So
right.
in essence, what we're doing is providing a recommendation.
yeah, which is what we always do. in
Yes,
essence,
okay.
right?
I just
Yeah,
wanted to make
yeah,
sure that
no,
I
it's
was
a fair
understanding.
point,
Yeah.
point.
Okay.
All right, so let's call the question here. So let's, we'll be a little more specific here. All in favor, maybe raise your hand. In favor of paying out this money, raise your hand. Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. That's, I mean,
Alright.
it's
I
a,
move travel, I don't know.
it's,
Alright.
it's a,
I'm in the same boat.
yeah, I mean.
No, I mean, you just gotta make a call on it, guys. I mean, it's, I don't think, I guess the way I would portray this is we don't have a legal obligation to pay this. We didn't have a contractual arrangement with these guys. They kind of, again, kind of jumped the gun, if you will, started to do work, but it was based on our conversation with them that said, yes, you're gonna get the bid. Okay. We had a snafu, I guess, in the bidding process, which forced us to relook at that. We ended up selecting another contractor. And this guy, felt like they incurred some expenses without a contract,
Right.
admittedly. So,
Which I think that's a very reasonable
Yeah,
thought process. Having
yeah.
said that, as
I mean, I get it though. I mean, I understand. If we don't have an obligation to pay the money, I get that.
Oh, I
Yeah.
understand.
And when you lose.
You lose.
you're desperate.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and-
They hope to get that. This has happened to me 3 or 4 times. It's happened to anyone who does consulting for businesses. This has happened to them
Sure.
many times.
Yeah,
Sure.
and in
You
my,
wouldn't expect to get paid.
And
Yeah.
that's the risk.
you hope to get paid.
Yeah,
If
right.
you find someone who pays, you take it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in my professional career, I've had this happen a number of times with various agencies, and 90% of the time we don't pay them. Because we've said, you don't have a contract. I'm sorry that you did that work. So anyway, having said all that, for me, I just wanted to ponder it in my head a
Sure,
little more. I
sure.
would be opposed to.
Sure. Okay,
Recommendation.
so let's
So-
do this. Let's get a motion to approve the payment
Okay.
and then we can vote on it. Can I get a motion to approve the payment? Second?
I'll support it. I'll
Okay.
support.
Thank you. All right,
No.
any more discussion
Wait,
about
hold
that?
on.
So wait. so
Yeah, now
we-
I'm confused. You were against it, but now you're
No,
for
no,
it?
no, we're just
He's
presenting a
just allowing it
motion.
to come to vote.
Motion in
Right.
positive
Yeah.
form.
Yeah, right.
So the motion is to approve the payment.
Now vote against it or vote for it.
He can vote against it now.
Right, that's right.
Okay, so-
He's just trying to get the motion on the floor to vote.
Thank you. Got it.
So I have just for a little bit further, so I just want to be clear in my head, because I've never dealt with stuff like this. This isn't something I've come across ever in anything multiple careers I've had. If it's standard for a company to do work and then end up not getting the contract and not getting if that's just standard practice, and you're saying it's happening, and you said 90% of that, then I don't have a problem not paying.
Okay, all right.
I mean,
Whether
if
they get-
that's kind of standard, if that's what they should expect.
Yeah, and I feel the same way. This is not my lane. I've never
Right.
experienced anything like this. But if it's pretty standard that, hey, you kind of rolled the dice,
That's correct.
Cause I mean, $5,000's not nothing and it's. not our
no,
money.
and
No,
that's,
right,
and
that's
it's
right,
not our
right.
money, it's taxpayer money. If
Well,
this was
who are
DDA
getting
money,
that
we
money?
could have a little more leeway, but still, it's,
Well, DDA money is still taxpayer.
but it's
money.
it's
Yeah,
still, well, true.
Right.
It's all taxpayer.
But, I mean, if it's fairly standard that it was their risk,
Yes, it is.
I mean, it's
then
clearly
I would-
their risk.
then I would-
mean, I don't have any.
I would
judgment.
then
Okay, so
towards that.
let's move on here. So we got a motion on the floor to approve the payment. We got a second. So all in favor of approving the payment signify by raising your hand. All opposed to the payment signify by raising your hand.
And
Very
then,
good. That motion does not pass. Our recommendation to the city commission would be to not pay that money if they choose to do so.
That's on that.
So
yeah,
be-
I mean,
so be
they're
it.
elected, so
Yeah.
And they
that
can
should be their
decide,
call.
if they want to do it, they can do it.
Absolutely.
I got no problem with the city council deciding.
Very
what
good.
to do what they want to do.
Okay.
sure.
Okay, all right, I think we've made our position known on that. Okay, so on to something less exciting, the T-Mobile grant.
I mean, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess for a Monday morning, yes, that's, you're right.
This is another.
So
grant.
this has my favorite word in it, grant. This is my favorite word, so tell us about this, Kelly.
This is another, I want to say corporate grant, but another company that offers grants to update spaces, get more in community involvement. So more, you guys had kind of said apply at will, but I always want to run it by you.
Sure,
My plan is to apply, excuse me, apply for this one in relation to Court Place Plaza again. So if you have other recommendations, please let me know. But the due date for this one is the 31st of March, so.
When you apply for something like this, Kelly, what kind of, how do I say it? What kind of flexibility do you have? So you submit, I imagine maybe you try and be a little generic on it, so we have some flexibility in terms of how we use the monies, but I suspect after the fact, we have to report back in some fashion as to
Correct.
how we use the funds.
Yep.
Typically.
I mean, it would, you look like you want to jump in or no? That's kind of what I need to identify the specific project for. So
Okay.
most grants you will have to report back. This one, you have a year, I believe, to finish the project if
Yep.
funded.
Okay,
So it would be something I need to narrow down a little bit more in relation to Court Place, if that's what you guys would like me to do.
sure.
But that seems to be kind of the main project for right now.
For 50 grand, could you put like a tiny little play structure in that thing? Because that was one of the things that got kicked off
Yep.
the design.
We looked at some of those and they were 50 to 75 for a nice
So-
one, so that
so I
could be
mean-
possible.
I mean, I think that's a good amenity to put in that park for people who are utilizing it. I think that was something in the right price range that got knocked off.
You know, it strikes me that, you know, one of the things we're doing relative to that whole Pleasant Street and Court Street is like we're trying to accumulate funds, right? Because we have the other grant in process. We have this potential. So it's almost like we're trying to, you know, pile up the,
Big
pile up the
Little from
money
here, a little
to
from
figure out what we want to do with it type
To me,
thing.
that
So,
sounds like a grant that wants a specific, they want their
Yeah.
money earmarked for
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
tangible and specific, not just the park in general.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
Is it a matching grant?
And play to that sort of thing
Mm.
for grantors,
Mhm.
you know, for kids, for, you know, families, boom. You know, they love that kind of stuff.
So, I mean, I fully appreciate you bringing this to us and saying, hey, look at the school grant,
Yep.
but you don't really, I mean, we don't need to like tell you to go after.
No.
free money.
And I think, I think
No.
something that's
If we
do something
as
specific.
specific as playground equipment would probably be appealing
I
to
agree.
Okay.
a corporation like
Yeah, they
T-Mobile.
can pull a little sign, this playground provided.
Absolutely.
funded by, yes.
Yeah.
So Kelly, do you want, I mean, I think we've already
More
given you
informational.
authority. Okay.
Yep, just
We've
in case-
already said if you've got
Yep.
opportunities to bring in bags of cash, we're all behind you.
I have a question. What does shovel ready mean? Is grant attention to that on project for shovel ready? Are we shovel ready?
I would think for playground structure, it would be pretty close. I mean,
We need shovels.
We need a big shovel, right? That's right.
yeah.
That's right.
I suspect the shovel ready question and the flexibility question is a little lower bar for a T-Mobile grant than a federal grant. or-
Ah,
Right, like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't,
Yeah, yeah.
I've not looked at it, but
Yeah, okay. All right, Kelly, you have, please proceed.
Do.
All right, downtown parking program reinvestment. You know, once the start of operating card paid from the thing, okay, so, all right, Kelly, tell us what you're looking for here.
So as we roll out the downtown paid parking program,
All right,
Um,
this is projects.
Oh,
right?
wait, we're doing parking? Pavement?
Oh, yeah,
Have you
yeah,
heard?
yeah,
When did
yeah,
that
yeah.
happen?
whole thing.
You know, before you
Nobody
take off
told
on
me
this,
that.
yeah, before you go off on this, I wanted to commend members of this group for coming to that meeting. I think you know, it was an interesting discussion to watch all the, you know, kind of interplay. And I think you know, we presented ourselves well in terms of talking about.
Some of us did better than others.
To kind of conclude the end of the meeting.
Yeah.
Kind of put it into perspective that was, you know, less bureaucratic and more, we did the hard work. You did a very good job.
Well, I think everybody, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate I appreciate all the effort on that because I think it was very important because I don't know what the commissioners were thinking when they walked in that room kind of thing. You never really know. I think they were, you know, leaning that way, let's call it. But I think when we were able to kind of put a topper on that, I think it was very helpful. So thanks for everyone for.
Absolutely.
Much
much
The fact that
appreciated.
it was unanimous was awesome.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point, Brian.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that made you feel like, hey, okay, let's go. All right, so go ahead, Kelly.
Sure. So 80% of any of the revenues are gonna come back to the downtown parking benefits district, right? Which is basically the downtown.
Yeah,
That's after all the incurred costs are paid off, which this first year is gonna be
right.
more.
Do
So
you know what that, that equipment, what was the number on that again? Do you remember with the additional item?
for the pay stations?
Yeah.
Right around 300,000.
About 3, it includes the extra ones we put in?
Yes, that's the
Okay,
extra
okay.
10.
All
Yeah.
right.
That were just approved. So.
Yep, yep.
There's some other infrastructure and things that the parking ambassadors and,
I felt like it was around 500.
Yeah,
probably estimated, sure. So first year's not gonna be a huge
Right,
amount
of
coming, in, which
course.
is fine. That's not
Of
the
course,
onus of the program. But Emily and I were talking and just start thinking about how we can use that reinvestment
Yes.
as something tangible downtown.
Sure.
Something like, this is what we're doing with these funds that are coming in,
Right.
because 80% of that will come back. to the
I
district.
was thinking about this, Kelly and I talked about this a little bit. When I think about this kind of funding, annuity, that may come to pass, I think about, well, okay, we've got some, like these grandiose plans that, that are pretty substantial, require boatloads of money.
Oh, so multi-year.
Yes,
investment, yeah.
exactly. And then, but on the other hand, it's, do you want to show a quick win kind of thing?
I was
You
gonna
know.
say, my thing would be go for low hanging fruit.
Yeah,
Replace
right, there you
aging
go.
park
Yeah,
benches and
yeah.
trash cans that look
Yep,
like
yep.
they were put in 40 years. Like things
Because
that
they
you
were.
can do in,
Yeah.
Sure,
yeah, but I
sure.
mean, do
So-
immediate.
Yeah.
Less
Highly
expensive,
visible.
highly visible,
I agree.
highly.
Yeah. So I think, the point, I think this is where,
That's
this
a
is
very
where,
good idea.
yeah,
That's a very
this is
good
where Kelly's
recommendation.
going is that, we don't need to make a decision right now, but this is something we need to kind of keep in our brains for future discussion about, hey, wouldn't it be great to do, what, trad and whatever, I mean, these kinds of
Bike
things.
racks.
And that's gonna cost $100,000. And,
Yeah.
so out of our initial thing, maybe this fall or, we demonstrate something and we can make a big deal about it, what have you. But I think that's a good way to go while simultaneously keeping our eye on the bigger prize, I'll call it.
Sure, yeah.
In terms of, some of the other amenities. So anyway, so I think right now that's all, we just need to have this in our,
Want to put it on your radar.
collective, heads about.
No,
Andrew,
I
I'm
get
sorry.
it. No, it's okay.
Go ahead. Yeah,
Um,
please.
Well, I want to comment on Deb's comment, follow up on that and kind of lead into the next one. And Kelly's probably gonna be frustrated with me on this, but the bike rack question, you talked about benches, receptacles, all that. I think it's a really important thing to be mindful of, right? The stuff out there is 40 years old. Or maybe not 40, but it's certainly 25 years old.
Sure.
There's some stuff that was provided here by these are the folks that designed it. right?
JPR. Mm-mm.
What is it? Oh, they did the street.
JPR, yep.
I would recommend that, and I know there's urgency in getting the bike racks, right? That the goal there is to get that done at the same time the parking is being done. I would recommend that, maybe a small subgroup spend a little bit of time quickly to think through what the fixtures would be rather than doing it piecemeal today. Think about picking a bench, a trash can, the lighting a little bit. I know there's a desire to get the stuff in by May. A year or two ago, Emily and I had engaged with Landscape Forms, who is local here in the region. They employ over 1,000 people. They will give the city a discount as well. And they've done the stuff that's already here and in Benton Harbor at Harbor Shores, and we're working with them on the plaza water. So I think spending a little bit of time rather than saying, well, let's pick a bike rack, and then like 6 months later, let's pick this other thing.
Needs to be comprehensive.
Yeah, go.
I'd be
Conf-
happy
I
to
agree.
be on the committee that.
Praza worked with Landscape Forms as well when we did our grounds in 2018 and they were excellent. And we went up to, I think.
This
during
is the name of the
Kalamazoo.
firm, Landscape Forms, it's
Yeah.
called. Yeah.
They're just east of Kalamazoo, and they have an outdoor
I
showroom.
can say you can go up and
It's-
Oh, wow.
walk through their park or their showroom,
Yeah.
and see the product in
I think
place.
Kalamazoo.
Andrew, would it be
Close
possible, do you
to,
think,
yes.
as cooperative as they are, would they host a group from here to go
100%.
up and walk around? Because again, you know.
Yep.
Andrew's absolutely right.
Yep.
You guys shouldn't be picking and choosing one at a time.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
Gotta be a
That makes sense.
That's the
comprehensive.
best way to make it not look right when you're done.
I would
Right.
agree. I think
So,
that's
anything
totally
more
logical.
if They would post it, it would be wonderful because they have top quality stuff.
They do Central Park. They did the
Yeah, they
Beijing
do
Olympics.
everywhere.
Like they're a big deal. There's still an importance to going through a proper bidding process, but they're local. They employ people that live here. And they will give a discount too, so.
So how do we navigate that, Kelly? I mean, you know, with bidding processes and all this kind of stuff that we have requirements for, I assume.
Well, we'll need to figure out exactly like what all you want to do
I
at
think,
once, and then I
I
have to
think
talk
the
to Emily
yeah.
to see.
I think the idea here is to get a scheme of various items. And we don't do them all now, obviously, because we don't have
Right.
the funding. But maybe if we picked, you know, if it was benches, trash cans, lighting, bike rack, oh, we're gonna do the bike rack now because that's 50 grand or, you know, whatever it is.
Pick a family.
Yeah,
One-
pick a
one
family,
then
right,
You can buy a
right.
bench, a
Right.
bike rack, a this, a that.
Right.
You pick the family first.
Yeah.
We
Can,
were able
can,
to navigate the procurement with a state grant that's federal money for some of the projects we did. So like you
Mhm.
have to go through a process, but if you have a specific product that is unique, then you put a bid out for that unique product and you're gonna get the product.
Because I mean, I would
So-
imagine whatever we're gonna put downtown, we wanna put in Port Place.
Mhm.
Right.
Plaza.
of course,
So,
absolutely.
I mean, we could even go as a group that's looking for fixtures for Court Place Plaza. With it being mindful of, it's gonna go everywhere.
Is this,
eventually.
Andrew, would it be something where they would come here and maybe bring a portfolio or type thing? Or
Anyway, like if.
I mean, I think if you're gonna look at benches and
Go
stuff.
look- go there.
Go look at. go
Sit
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 on
on 'em.
where are they at Kalamazoo?
They're just like
Don't
5
touch
miles
them.
east of Kalamazoo.
East of Kalamazoo.
So-
I mean,
It's
that's
not hard
40
to-
minutes.
All right.
Even out there?
So
Mhm.
I'm,
Yeah,
a-
it's really worth it, I
Nice,
think.
okay.
I'm a little confused though. You said something about in May. Are you saying May of,
I think.
26.
No, I think the goal is to have bike racks
Bike
by
racks, yeah.
May, which.
Yeah.
that-
Of this
that part
year.
Wouldn't be hard to do. You
The-
think-
right,
I think the
okay.
Group could, if the group is selected, go
Right.
up for a visit soon, pick the bike rack, those can be ordered, and then the other stuff happens
Yeah,
whenever it
okay.
happens.
So
Right,
I,
right.
yeah, we've mixed a
Yeah.
little, couple of things together. When we started the conversation, it was about what are we gonna do? My guess is the net from the first year of parking is gonna be 100,000.
Yeah.
You know.
That's not unreasonable.
Give or
Yep,
take,
Yep,
you know.
yep.
But this pick for this May is not spending that money. That 100,000 is not gonna be available to us until 26.
Yeah, but I'm guessing.
But the bike racks, we have money for now, right?
We-
Is that?
We could do it out of our fund balance.
okay.
Capital's getting a little
Is that,
thin,
is
but we
that
could use that.
DDA or is that?
No, DDA money.
Okay.
DDA.
Okay,
money. Either way, I think we.
I
can-
just, it's two
we can fund it.
things,
Yes.
yeah.
From a funding perspective, you're right, Brian. I think
Yeah.
we can make this happen. So it sounds like what we're interested in doing, Kelly, is like a field trip, I guess, for lack of a
Yeah.
better description
road
to
trip.
So just-
landscape forms. Could you maybe Andrew can maybe help you connect on all that and see when we might be able to do something. like
Would
this.
it be
It'll
weird for
fun.
us to hold a meeting at their facility? Our regularly scheduled meeting? Would that be weird?
Go to the coffee shop.
Could be a
and-
little,
Would be-
you know, could be a little weird, but,
Well, I mean, also because you've got, right, it's a public meeting.
Yeah, we need to.
Yeah, yeah,
I was
There's
gonna
not-
say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
now we have
okay,
to
all right.
zoom.
No,
That's
it's-
why
it's-
I
no,
asked. I just,
Yeah.
kill two
That's
birds with
right.
one stone. I get it.
Right.
Yeah, no, I get it. We're all, you know, you guys are all busy. I'm just.
From an
Members,
open
right.
meetings
Oh.
perspective, there's no issue with a delegation going there to look, and
Yeah.
coming back with a recommendation
Right.
Okay.
to this board.
So
Yeah,
let's.
I was just trying to be efficient.
Yeah, no, it's a good
Yeah.
point. Yeah, with limited time. So maybe you connect with this company.
Yep.
Give them,
Andrew-
you know,
Oh,
talk with them about what it is we're interested in and,
So
you know,
if I may, just for clarification, that was the parking subgroup that recommended the bike racks, just so you know where that was coming from.
right.
But we can set that up
But I
before the
don't-
next
I don't think
meeting for
they-
a recommendation.
I don't think they disagree with the need
Nope.
for, you know, kind of
Sure.
consistency in this thing that we don't get off track here and, you know, we pick a bike rack later that, oh, wait a minute, that doesn't really look as good with the
Right.
trash can or whatever.
Right.
So I think this idea of having, I don't know, a
So-
consistent.
A family, like.
comprehensive,
Chris
a
was saying, yeah.
family,
You pick
whatever.
that family and.
Yeah,
go
you
from
know.
there.
So who would be interested in being on said subgroup
Ki-
field trip?
Is it okay
Everybody?
for,
Field trips are always
is
fun.
is it okay for multiple ones to go? We don't have to limit it to two or any of
No.
that kind of stuff?
No, why it
No,
would,
because we're not gonna make any voting.
yeah,
Yeah,
we
right.
would have to watch a
Okay,
quorum.
okay. I just want to make sure.
Say that
So,
again.
We'd have to watch for a quorum.
So you're saying we don't want a quorum?
Why, I mean, if all we're doing is looking at stuff, we're not voting or picking, we're just
I don't think it would be a open meetings
what,
not evaluating.
issue.
what if I just happen to pull in the parking lot at the same?
Well, so how many is a
I'll double
quorum?
check.
How
and-
many is a quorum?
5.
Five.
I feel.
So
like
in
it's
theory,
Four
four
of
could
us.
go.
So-
Probably only 4 of us are gonna have the
Yeah, I
time,
think that's probably.
even if all of us want to.
So Kelly, let's talk about the arrangements and let you and I talk too, because I'm traveling a little bit here in the next few weeks. But I know this is something we probably want to do
Quickly.
sooner rather than later, or probably yet this month, I'm thinking, huh?
And I'm just gonna put a plug in, because I'd really like to go, but if
Okay.
do
Yeah.
it before the 17th, I have knee replacement surgery that day.
Okay.
But
All right.
that in no way should, if it ends up after that,
Okay,
it's fine. I'm just,
I'll double check on the quorum
because I know
thing
that's
and,
relatively quick.
See what they,
Yeah.
I guess I would talk to them
Yep.
about, how would they envision, maybe they do a little presentation or they present 3 option. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure. It sounds like an interesting place to go to. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we
And again,
had,
It'd be nice to try and push it before the 17th because Pleasant Street between the market and 221 is where you're gonna probably see this done first. I think Pleasant Street's gonna be done long before we get the first $5 million to do a second of State Street.
Thank you.
I would assume, yeah, I would assume.
And not to be, I think she's
So
the
it's
second.
slow,
most
small.
Oh, that's cool.
This-
I used to own 3 of them. I'm down
I had
here.
it.
And what, you're going out of town, Deb? Is that
I
the
have
issue?
knee replacement surgery on the
Oh.
17th,
When is that?
the 17th.
Oh, happy St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, right.
That's-
Okay.
That's fast. That's.
Okay,
Yeah, you might not be able to do it.
Yeah, and if I don't, that's fine.
okay.
But
We'll send you videos.
I think that they have catalogs, like digital catalogs. that
Oh,
they
yeah, I'm sure.
send out as
I'm
well.
sure.
A lot of ways to do it.
if
but
it gets
I-
scheduled.
No, it's okay. I do think.
I can't.
It's a bit of an inconvenience, but being able to touch the stuff is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I think that's a
See
great
the light-
idea.
the light posts,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
bring
yeah.
the
No, I think
light
that's
rack in,
great.
But they're not bringing the light posts in.
Is it like, if you guys schedule a route tour, I mean, I'll drive, I have to go to Kalamazoo this week anyway. I'll just go myself if I can. just
Sure.
walk around.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is, like you were saying, sit in the benches and say, oh, this one's much more comfortable than that.
Right. So, all right, so I think we're in agreement on this. Kelly, do a little homework on this and maybe give me a heads up, or you and I can talk further about how we orchestrate the timing. And, it'll kind of be one of those things, who's available is available, and, we go on from there. And we'll keep other people informed
Sure.
about it, but it would be nice, my calendar's real bad here in March, but we'll make it happen for one way or another. Okay, very good.
I want to add just one super quick other thing. on
Please.
that. So as we're talking with developers about, significant projects as well that are likely to receive TIF, either through the DDA or the Brownfield Authority, that when you have in place your spec, and they're going to be using that TIF dollars for the new furniture you all pick that'll go in front of their project on Lake Boulevard or wherever.
Right,
So
right.
having your spec in place is good. Then you're not getting private developer doing something different or whatever.
Okay, right, so I think this takes care of the bike rack discussion then for now as well. All right, now, I was up all night thinking about the parking lot names. When I have to admit, when I read this, I chuckled a little bit and I was thinking, okay, what's the objective here? Interestingly, we get numbers and all kinds of stuff. So I don't know. I'm kind of personally, I'm kind of a little indifferent on this particular one, but I don't know if anybody has strong feelings about being more creative here in terms
Colors
of.
work for me as a visual
color.
person.
I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't.
Colors is, it's easier to remember, I parked
It
in
is.
pink.
I'm in the
than I
orange
parked
lot.
in-
Yeah, I'm in the orange lot or I'm in the green lot.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But
All right.
I think,
Willie,
I
Couldn't you
like
do-
the Michigan,
couldn't
but
you
they
do
have
both?
focused ones.
Couldn't you do both? color
that's
and
true.
historical
Yeah, I
name?
would think so.
It's the
Call it-
Paramarquette orange, you know, you.
So there's, sorry, the signage is gonna have a color scheme to it designating lot versus on-street, just so that there is a little bit of separation to avoid the confusion of somebody parking on-street and paying in a lot. I don't know why they would, but things happen. In parking subgroup, just kind of talked about, I don't know, humanizing the
Sure.
signage a little bit
Sure.
and, you know, to your point, I parked in the Riverview lot or, you know, the historical ones.
the steam engine
Kayla
lot.
came up with those and just a lot of really interesting history behind a lot of those names. I
Sure.
learned a lot in that
Yeah.
process.
Right, right.
More than I didn't know there was
More
only two
than you
maids
wanted
of the
to know,
mess, but, it's totally up to you guys if you want to do this. It's just, it's something the subgroup has talked about and it makes it a little more
I mean-
welcoming.
So are you saying that if we say, oh, we want to go with colors, where it would be orange, blue, green, that the signs themselves would not be orange, blue, or green? They would
I think that would make. it
conform with the overall design that we're doing?
Yeah.
So you're gonna have, you're in the orange lot, but it's in our multicolored design, because I think that might be counterintuitive to what we're trying to
Well,
accomplish here.
I mean, I
Right.
Is that-
honestly think people, I mean, this is what I do because I'm old. When I park it over, I take a picture of the sign.
I do
I don't
too.
have to remember what it's called. I just go back and look at my picture or drop a pin. Like, you don't have to remember this. I mean, I can't be the only person who takes a picture
do
of what
it.
they park by.
No, I do. I parked in a garage, last weekend and it was, the floors happened to be colored, but they have a number, you know, they had like P1 was orange, P2 was purple, P3 was blue. I don't know.
Yeah, the colors is confusing if all the signs.
And
are-
interestingly, on this one, they have
Right, and that's,
QR
that's,
code.
yeah, and then you might as well have a name.
Yeah.
You know,
It's up to you guys.
I
mean,
don't know.
Oh, sorry, Paul.
I think the names are great. I think the multi-word, the names will get confusing to people, but I think branding it, theming it would be a good thing. What about fruit? And point towards the
Yeah, a little bit
agriculture of our
simpler.
area. That way, so one word, like I parked in the Concord lot, I parked in the peach lot or the
Peach.
apple.
There you go.
cherry,
How about I parked on the blueberry?
The blueberry, yeah,
Blueberry.
yeah.
I agree with, Paul. I think it's a great marketing, it's a great exposure, it's a great way to, get community involvement and then get sponsors, okay?
Yeah,
Because
there you
some, you might want to, I'm a sponsor of the green lot, I'm a sponsor of the orange lot. I don't think we want to mess with the color because again, that's what's tied into the sign proposal.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
can't have Marquette on the signs, there's not a space.
Well, I
Yeah.
think it's confusing, right?
Could be confusing.
Well, it also
feel-
could just say Marquette versus Father Marquette.
Yeah, right,
But-
right.
These are all just suggestions.
Yeah,
I mean,
right,
it's,
right.
I know,
Should be LA Sal, by the way.
Yeah, right.
Spell it. Where am I at?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
the
geez.
LE is feminine, LA is masculine.
Yeah.
sorry about
So,
that.
well, that's all right. I just in case it got actually
Ah.
done.
Yep, nope,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you.
So,
The numbers will probably stay from a public safety standpoint. That's how they know the lots, you know, 11, whatnot. So this was just something kind of in.
what do we see happening here? I mean, would we actually have signage to this effect? I mean, if we call it, you know, the kumquat lot or whatever the hell.
You don't grow kumquat.
Well, I know,
It would be on the sign.
That
just
would
as
be-
an
That
example,
would be for lot number 15.
number 15, right?
Right.
Okay, so do you need, are you looking for, is a parking group gonna figure, they'll probably do this on their own, maybe,
That's what I
no?
was just gonna say, seems like a small group could
Yeah,
sort
right,
of
Yeah.
take a peek at this. and-
yeah.
It was just, we wanted your opinion on it, if it's something you're.
Is it fair to say we're open to, you know,
I like
pursuing,
The idea of the simpler dissociation as well.
yeah,
Because I feel like this makes me want interpretation, like I want a historical marker telling me what these things are. versus
yeah,
now an
right,
additional
right,
sign.
right.
Yeah,
So.
You open up all.
Could have
kinds
a
of
lot
stuff.
of
That's
signs
right,
down.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
To me, the historical themed and the Michigan St. Joe could be one list.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Because there,
Yeah.
I mean, Newburyport
Similar.
is Michigan St. Joe, but it's also Pear Marquette is all over Michigan
Right.
and it's just, you know, I mean, to me, they're I appreciate the separation, but I think they're
I think they would say, I like the fruit because it's just.
Yeah,
they're
right,
easier
simple.
Easier to
Yeah.
remember
It's
too.
simple.
I think we're gonna
Except for
leave this in
compliments.
the capable hands of the parking group.
Agreed.
With the only caveat being, let's be careful here that we don't create a lot of confusion with the whole paid parking scenario, because, you know, we're launching that simultaneously.
Yep.
And we've got, you know, different areas and colors and instructions and all this, so in my mind, if this is gonna create
More havoc.
more havoc, maybe not a good time.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
anyway.
Yep, I'll take that back to the subgroup.
All right, fair enough. Okay, the next item
Simple.
is the 26 budget. Holy smokes, already.
Jeez.
So
Halfway through the year.
yeah, we're
I always
almost,
forget.
so our year starts July 1.
Correct.
If I remember correctly, right? So that's not too far away,
Right.
you know? And so, I think Kelly is looking for some input on the, what would be the, 25, 26
Correct.
budget.
Um,
And go ahead, please.
We just did this on Friday, so, we don't have obviously our tax numbers coming in yet. We won't know that until next month, but the budget has to go to commission next month, so
Okay.
that's why we're kind of bringing this to you as a recommendation, you know. I pulled a lot of the numbers, what I could pull. Looking at the operating supplies, it's a little higher because we had talked about possibly getting new banners for downtown.
Right.
I didn't get a chance to talk to you on that cost, but we assumed $5,000 for downtown banners, plus the $2,000 more for the new planters for Pleasant Street with the adjustment on that. And then just an overall rough increase of 10% on everything.
Sure.
So
Replacing the ones that are out that
What's
they
that?
were putting out before?
we're getting more.
Oh, getting more.
Planters or banners?
The planters.
Planters, we're getting more banner, or more planters.
planters.
Oh,
We
okay,
approved, I
okay.
think, within $2,000.
Oh,
So
okay.
with the reconfiguration of what we're doing down there, so.
Okay.
Just, yep,
All right, cool.
So I think for the most part, if I'm saying this correctly, Kelly, that what we're proposing for next year is pretty consistent with what
Yes.
we did this past year and
Yep.
frankly, prior years, a couple of tweaks here and there, increases for, you know, some level of inflation and what have you. So
yep.
I don't think there's, unless someone sees something, I don't see anything too radical here, I guess is what I would say.
The only thing that is a bit in the weeds,
Mhm.
and it's not a giant increase, is I assume the city has to comply with ESTA, the new sick time rules.
Yes,
Which adds approximately 3.5%
okay,
to your costs
perfect, yeah.
particularly for the salaries that, you know, that we cover. So that could be a little bit. Now, if you raise everything 10, you're not going to give up 7%. You know, so probably there's enough there, but
Okay. I'll look into that.
yeah.
Any other comments on this? It seems fairly straightforward,
agreed.
actually, I think, huh?
So
Uh,
the only
Yeah,
real thing that-
go ahead, yeah.
we didn't already have, like, already in the works, like signage and whatever, is new banners.
Mm-hmm.
We're not gonna like, because I know we talked about doing a different kind of facade grant, like maybe that just did awnings and stuff like that. Would that, so that would be in next year's budget if we wanted to have some kind of initiative.
We could do it, is it fair to say, Kelly, we don't necessarily have to have it in the budget, we could take it out of our fund balance if we wanted to approve such a program? Could we do that? Or does it gotta be on the front end? You know,
I don't know.
I mean, that's why I'm asking the question. I guess the way I'm asking it, because that gives us more flexibility if we decide in a month or two, we wanna,
Mm-hmm.
you know, yeah.
But I
right.
just, I know that was
Yes,
highly successful, and we've talked a
Yes,
number of times
yes.
about trying it for.
Yes.
Specifically for awnings.
Okay. I will have to double check.
See
that.
what flexibility we
Yeah.
have relative to that, so.
Okay.
I think Kelly, you would like a motion to approve this budget as you've outlined it here.
Please.
Yeah. Can I
So
get
moved.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Chris, support. Robert, second. Any other conversation about this? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Very good. All right, budget. Gosh, I got, time flies, doesn't it? Oh, because I'm just getting older and older.
Every day.
Every day. Okay, all right, Kelly, what do you got here? She got a bunch of updates here. Anything you want to highlight for us of, we can certainly read the materials, but is there anything in particular you want to?
On the initiative status, just, wayfinding is progressing. We're looking at permits and everything right now. So that is, we're actively
Yeah.
moving forward with Fairmont and that project.
Do we have did the contract get done?
Yes,
Okay,
the contract is executed.
all right, very good.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
just
When are we
checking.
hoping to have signs installed or starting?
by well, the goal is by Memorial
Okay,
Day.
that's what I thought.
Yeah.
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 So they're busy fabricating and all that fun
Design.
stuff. Yep,
The designs are at Corbin right now, just for first review, and then they'll come
Sure.
to us.
wow,
So, yeah, it's exciting.
that's cool.
Then
Very cool.
RRC, it's green, is that done?
It's not done yet. It's still being looked at, is my understanding.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yep.
I thought maybe we can-
No.
I was gonna
This
be
is
like, "Woo-hoo."
actively in process. So,
Okay.
um,
What else
pretty
there?
much it on that one. I did put in, someone had asked when the island and things are gonna be going in, so
Right.
just moving this a little, shifting more towards spring.
And the
Yes.
FRAP grant, do you have any notion of when they'll notify?
It was usually, from what I saw, it was a couple months after, submission, which was January. So I would assume maybe this month, early next month.
Okay.
That's the wrap.
That's,
thing.
yep,
Yeah.
that's the big one. So any questions on that one?
The RRC thing, as I understand it, we've submitted all the documentation and
Yep.
they're beating it around. Have we gotten any feedback at all, questions? Nothing at this point.
Not that I know of.
I'm sure because it's perfect.
I think so.
I don't think you're likely to see much. Some of the stuff was completed 4 years ago.
Yes, right,
So
right.
I don't know if some of their
So they-
standards might have been updated since,
Sure,
but
sure.
there's not gonna be something that gets dropped on the team at the city that's gonna take 6 months to do. It might be,
Great.
something around the edges, but
Well, that'd be an exciting thing to have that in place.
already
Absolutely.
in the county.
Ah,
And one of
really?
only like 4 in the region.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's exciting.
It is
Makes it
exciting.
even more exciting. All right, I think the last page here is, we like to look at what's going on in the downtown relative to retail activity. Kelly, what do we have to highlight there? We got a new Brookies Cafe, I guess is a new endeavor.
Yep, Brookies is going in, where Kingfisher Tacos was.
Is this like a breakfast lunch kind of
I
place?
believe so.
Yeah.
I found it on, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah, they said, I saw a thing on their Facebook, they're, was it too?
yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
8 to 2, 6
That's cool,
days, 8 to 2,
Okay.
6 days a week.
Awesome.
And
Yeah, we're close
somebody
Always
said,
the
the sweets, somebody's taking the sweets place? Is that,
Yeah, I just got word from King Taylor this week that somebody's moving in there
wow,
recently. So
okay. Do we know what it is
I
or?
don't have a ton of details on that. I just know that, they work with Sturgis and
Okay,
moving forward with something there.
all right.
So
Sorry, I'm sorry. That was the number one, 315 State,
Yes.
Yes,
Sweet Haven?
number
Okay.
one, that's right.
Because the other place around the corner is like no. What's the name of
The
that?
place on Broad Street?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Licks.
yeah, that
Oh,
little,
Licks. I was
Yep.
thinking that had the word sweet in it
Yep.
too. So I did notice somebody posted on Facebook wanting to know if they were still open. I just happened to catch that yesterday or day.
is this the
before.
guy by the alley? Is that?
Yeah.
What do you got? Yeah, yeah,
And the old cupcake place?
Yeah.
yeah.
And
the old-
I don't know if, I haven't been down there. So somebody said, I keep going there and they're not open. So
Oh.
for whatever
yeah,
that's.
my perception is their hours are kind of erratic.
Okay.
And So sometimes he's open really late into the evening
Mm.
and then sometimes he's not open when.
Okay.
he says he is. So.
Okay, so we have, a handful of spots to work on, looks like, yeah. All right, good. Any other comments on that?
Nothing in the old, surf shop, that's still just vacant.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good, so,
And I haven't, wait, do we
Not
have
too
on here
bad.
6?
Right.
That's the That's the same, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you talked to the pretzel guy. That's-
Yeah, they, I don't know where that is. I know Emily was gonna try to reach out to them.
I did.
You did,
I
okay.
did. Yeah, I
And-
spoke with them.
Yeah,
So-
okay. And I don't wanna, it's their
yeah,
business, so I,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
have
have been
not
in
spoken
contact.
to them in a while about it. I
Hmm.
just, so.
Well, I guess if you're gonna do something, now would be the time to do it for summer,
That's
right? You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, so, okay, very good.
Would Huntington fit into this, in the Huntington closure? I don't see that on, but that probably isn't on.
That's the bank on
The bank right behind.
Pleasant and Maine.
Hmm.
Across
Mhm.
the street from you.
Oh, the one with the two little silos?
Bank right
Yeah.
there.
So did that close?
Yeah, they're out of there. I mean, Bud Spa still owns it, but I don't.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's
So-
such a weird little place.
So I got a phone call from someone who was thinking about buying it.
Where is it? Where is this exactly?
It's the bank right across from the market.
It's got the weird two little like silo-y thing. It's a really.
Ah,
cool-
right.
It's
Yeah.
a weird
yeah.
building.
It's just a-
So Pleasant and Maine, it's the, what would it be?
Yeah.
The southwest corner.
South,
Correct.
yep, southwest corner,
Gotcha.
correct.
Gotcha.
Someone who I know is thinking, he said that he was considering putting in a bid the next day, and he called me about about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
And he just had a bunch of questions about businesses downtown and that sort of thing. And I have no idea whether he actually made an offer or not, but
Huh.
and he had various ideas of what might be able to go in there. He actually wanted to know if I would move there.
Oh, well.
Which the answer to that is no, doesn't make sense for me.
That's a,
Because
They
I'm-
moved the vault.
It's-
I assume, I
yeah,
assume
yeah.
I mean,
All right.
yeah.
So
Actually, I just saw a piece on the news the other day about a gun store that was broken into in Chicago, I think, and they were in an old bank.
Yeah.
And at night, they moved every gun into the vault. So these guys broke in, they had the video, and they were all like,
Oh, where are all the guns?
so they got some sporting goods basically out.
Yeah, I don't know,
Wow.
did they take them out?
I
We
can't
toured
imagine.
the old, I think it's the Farmers Bank or Merchant Bank, in Benton Harbor.
Oh, that's a cool building.
Yeah, it was really cool, but,
Unfortunately.
the safe was still there.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it's huge. That one was huge.
That's
We looked at
huge,
that
yeah.
building when we were doing the market.
Yeah.
I have an update at the market. Meredith completed her renovation of she's expanded now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. It looks cool.
She's still looking for a Class C liquor license because she would like to be like a wine bar that can serve
Sure.
glasses of wine. And I know like this much about it, that DDAs can create special liquor licenses. I tried to read about it, it made my brain bleed. I reached out to Phil Calamaros a couple months ago, because he's a lawyer and
Yeah.
he loves to talk, and I asked him about it, and he sent me the link to the Michigan, that
Yeah.
Liquor control
MLCC page, and I
commission.
was like, thanks, Phil, I know how to Google, but I was asking him to explain to me how to do it. I put a bug in Emily's ear about it, because all Meredith wants to do is serve wine, so she doesn't really need a full
Full
Class C
C,
liquor
right.
license. And right now, there's 3 of them available, and all 3 of them are $130,000 each.
Right.
They clearly decided that's the going rate.
So
between
I'm
them.
actually familiar with this because I'm working with a guy in Benton Harbor on this.
Okay.
It's really easy.
Well.
I mean, well, I mean, you get the
Yeah.
politics. to
Yes,
become
right, that's
really
right,
easy.
that's right. So there's,
Yeah, I talked to Emily
Yes.
about it, like, just briefly, she was in the market and
Yep.
Meredith.
You're right.
I'm like, hey, I wanna put a plug in your ear. I feel like obviously I have a little bit of a conflict of interest because it affects my building, so I would never vote on anything about that, but if there is any way the DDA, or if anybody has knowledge or expertise
Yes.
on this, I would love to sit down.
I
Meredith
actually,
too,
yeah, I've actually
about
spent some
how
time
one
on
would
this,
do
right?
this.
I've actually spent some time on this. So one of the requirements is you have to solicit open licenses that are inactive. So I've actually gone through this process, but it's not, if you're working with a community that's supportive, let's put it that way, I think Andrew's right. You could make this happen.
So,
we're
that's my
having some
question, is this a
difficulty-
possibility, or should
No,
just
I-
Bury this away.
No.
So the steps would be that the DDA would recommend adopting this program, which are
Yep.
redevelopment liquor licenses.
Yeah.
And then
Are they write some things down?
and then the commission would have to approve it by resolution to
Right.
offer redevelopment liquor licenses. In order to be awarded one, and they cost $20,000, it's a flat fee, they stay with the property, you cannot resell them like you can a regular class C, but they
Right.
are effectively a class C.
Right.
You have to go through the same process you would with background checks, everything else. There is some documentation that the staff has to provide, that there's been like $500,000 of investment in the district over the last 5 years. That would not be hard to do here. You have to meet a certain number of seats within the space. There's a few things, but it's pretty straightforward. Buchanan's the only community in the county that offers them. I will tell you that almost every bar that's opened in Kalamazoo in the last 10 years has got them. They use them in Grand
They-
Rapids.
They use that
I was
system.
gonna
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
I think of
Very-
Veritivo in Grand Rapids has.
Yeah,
one.
it's
Yeah, yeah.
very straightforward. So, and that, it came up in a couple of different public meetings we've had over the last couple of years. But again, it's DDA would make a recommendation to commission and commission would
Yeah.
entertain if they want to do it or not. It does not open up the floodgates necessarily.
No.
They still have, each license still has to be approved by the
Right.
municipality
right.
before it goes to the MLCC also. But it really lowers the barrier, right? 20,000
Yes.
versus
Right, they're
100
130
or
right now.
150.
Well, doesn't make any, would you recommend that we make that recommendation to the city council to get that going, whether it's for Deb's situations you talking about, or just, is that a
More of
enhancement for our
a
downtown?
blanket,
My
would it be a
recommendation
blanket
is
thing?
The community have every tool in its
Yep.
toolkit.
Yep.
And that is one you can decide whether or not to use, but if you don't have it, you can't use it.
Does she have anything set up to go before the city on that? Meredith?
No, I mean, so her first step was just looking for available liquor licenses.
And they're too expensive.
And she realized she doesn't have $130,000 to, I mean, it is her plan, and she was hoping to get it done this year. To get a class C, and she was, cause I think Kelly paid half of that for hers in the tap room. She was kind of like, they've got a broker looking now, but, right now, it's cost prohibitive for her.
Yeah, sure. That's been my experience
She
as
just
well.
did her
Yep.
expansion and, she.
If the board wants to learn more about this, we could have someone from MLCC or do a quick little slide deck for a subsequent meeting.
Why don't we, we could put this on the agenda for next time, but I mean, if she's interested in pursuing this, I mean, she should,
If
I know
it's
she
on the
can-
agenda for next month, I'm sure she would come to this meeting and.
I mean, I mean, I don't know what her timetable is. I'm sure she'd rather do it sooner rather than later if she's ready to go.
The minute it
Tomorrow,
became an
yeah,
opportunity.
yeah. So why don't we do that? Deb, you can tell her that, I'm happy to talk to her about this too, because
I
just
can give her your number.
absolutely, number and email and all the rest, because I have I know enough to be very dangerous on this particular
If-
topic.
If we, as the DDA approved this, it sounds to me like what you're describing is we would be approving sort of, I'll call it the process, not, we wouldn't be
Specific
voting
business.
typically on an individual's.
Not yet.
Yeah, you
So-
probably
so
need
would
to do
have
both.
I
Yeah.
think the commission can do it without a DDA recommendation.
Right.
but I
Okay.
think having a DDA recommendation, that
Okay.
you've all studied something, then it goes to them for consideration.
Yeah.
They set something up by
Okay.
resolution. And then when
People
start
An
submit,
individual
yeah.
comes
they will
in.
still come before you, so.
Got it,
it's still
okay.
a two-step
All right.
thing.
But
Yep,
does that-
got it.
Does that process take longer than it would to open up, this year for the tourist season?
Tourist season would be tight, I mean, unless it was, if this was on. I don't think you'd get it open by Memorial Day,
So,
but
yeah, I mean,
But my point is why would it be inappropriate for the DDA to make a recommendation tonight to the council today, to the council, and then have the council start the process? Because again, it's the market, it's 221, it's Pleasant Street, it's Court Plaza, it's up, that's where we want comment. That's what we're trying to do, is build value there.
So how about this? How about if we make a recommendation to the city commission that they should you know, they're gonna have to do some investigation and
Sure.
like, so maybe we make a recommendation to them that we think this would be a useful tool, as Andrew puts it, to have it in our kit. And, you know, we think they ought to pursue having the mechanism in place for people to be able to submit applications for this license.
And
Does
just
that, does
for-
that make sense? I mean,
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
just to answer your question, Helen, so Meredith, just to expand her existing retail space. All she was doing was, adding the space, and that's closing that wall in. The approval process from the MLCC took from September, she got her license last Thursday, last Friday.
6 months.
It just, and like, she wasn't changing anything about it except her square footage.
A bigger retail space, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Her storage space and her lock storage space and basement remain the same. The building she's in remain the same. No other businesses changed.
Yeah, the experience I've
And it
had
took
with the
6 months.
MLCC is they do not move quickly.
All right.
So I think,
So we're talking
To-
next summer.
to think
Yeah.
that this is gonna happen this year
Probably a
is
push.
really
Probably a push.
not
Yeah.
probably gonna
I mean,
happen. It
she
would be next,
her dream
it would be
to
next-
Open for the holidays. if
I think that's
possible.
feasible.
that's a possibility, sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Kelly, so I think, does that make sense that we,
I don't think we need to vote on.
No,
this.
I don't
It's
think
just
so.
a
I think
consensus
we-
recommendation.
Yeah, I think we need to just have the,
Oh,
they-
for
I'm-
sure.
They're gonna have to do some investigation. Lori's probably gonna have to look at whatever. I mean, whatever that process is there. But we think it would be a useful,
Sure.
a useful tool for us to have.
Thanks.
Seems like a memo or
Yeah.
something a little somewhat formal would be good.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what you had in mind.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's see, what else we have? Public comment?
Do
Anybody?
you have a St. Joe today report?
Yeah, I have a.
Anybody? I didn't get to them yet.
It wasn't
Yeah.
in the packet.
Yeah, I was ready to give it to you
Oh,
next.
right here.
You were next on my list here, Paul.
Well, Kelly.
Mhm.
Really the two big, points to note out are we've got Restaurant Month coming up in April, which we're excited about. That's a new event that we're doing. We're doing a month long instead of a week long, like most do. And that is to try to accommodate consumer behaviors, right? Like I was thinking about my wife and I, we go out maybe once a week. And so how do you get a small town like this to go out multiple times and patronize multiple restaurants? Well, let's see if we can pull off a month. And so there'll be a passport system like we do with other events, where if you get 5 stamps, you'll be entered into a drawing. Sturgis Bank is gonna put a gift basket together. Planks is putting a 2-night with the Inn is putting 2 nights and dinner up for the drawing. So hopefully they'll spurn some business and some patronage of our downtown restaurants and in the Arts District. It's our 45th year as an organization, so kind of the spirit is come out and celebrate our 45th year with dinner.
Cool.
With our great restaurant partners.
That sounds good.
That's the big thing. And then also we are in discussion with the city about adopting the lighthouse tours for the coming summer. So hopefully those will continue into summer 25 on Saturdays, and then maybe expand from there.
So folks can actually go right in.
Folks will be able to go in and go up and take a tour of the lighthouse.
Oh, that's cool. Have we not done that before?
Heritage Museum.
Heritage used to do it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Super cool if you've never.
It is.
Yeah, no, I've
Very
never done, yeah.
Oh, you should definitely go. do
It's
it.
very cool.
Okay.
We're
That's cool.
hoping that in late May, we'll plan kind of like a preview event where we'll invite kind of city officials and DDA, and we'll kind of go and have a party at the lighthouse.
Oh, that'd be cool.
You know.
That'd be
do
fun.
some Dinner or something
I
like
was
that.
gonna say, let me know if you need any catering.
Yeah, that'd be really fun.
Fun. That would be
Keep an eye-
fun.
Keep an eye out for an invitation for that.
Robert, you're so cool. You get to be twice.
Oh, my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, you are in there twice.
Cause you're so good, you get
Yeah.
double bill.
Stuck in there.
Do you have you should have put the breakfast. Copper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sure, sure.
Does that mean you get 2 tickets for one?
Yeah, right.
No, you gotta go to Copper Pot and Tuesday.
Yeah.
You gotta get it, yeah, to fulfill your requirement. That's right. Okay,
Hill District?
Thank you.
That's
Thank
the
you.
Old,
uh,
right?
let's see, what do we got? Board member comments? Any other comments for the good of the order? Anybody?
Public comment, I guess this would fall under. For Greg, is the city aware that the lights at Pleasant Street are off, the
Yes,
street lights?
I told Emily last week.
Oh, okay, yeah, they've been off for a little while. I didn't know if someone forgot to pay the bill or,
somebody passed that message on and I went over there and the next breaker was stripped and I flipped it on and it was in the middle of happening, so I'm like, oh, should be back on.
They were off last night. Yeah, they were off last night. Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
Maybe something is stripping the breaker and it caused it, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, I opened the panel, I'm like, that makes sense. Walked away. So,
Right. Okay.
follow.
Anything else? Any other, anything else exciting? No, good. All right, so we will, motion to adjourn. Yeah, so moved. Well, good. Thank you. Thank you all. Appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, this, and so this.